Straight up. Glory to God. Welcome back to your Way Happy Bible Study. We're talking about the timeline. This is so fun. I love to do the timeline. I've been obsessed with this for decades, okay? Trying to figure all of this out. Now, the Lord says, seek and you will find. And I believe that I may have found the answers just in time. Just in time. His timing is impeccable in all things. Glory to his wonderful name. Okay, now we've kind of laid out the timeline for you. So now let's put some more details in there. We're looking at my chicken scratch here. We're looking at the start of the 70th week being February 7th, 2015. The way we got that is we took our midpoint of, our possible midpoint of the 9th of Av, 2018, which is July 21st. And another reason, let me give you some more reasons, some more evidence, okay? One, let's bullet these, okay? More evidence, because you have to have 2 or 3 witnesses, and we've got a ton of great witnesses for this timing, which is why I focus on it like I do. Now, for one, another witness is that Jerusalem has been in the hands of Israel now for 50 years. 50 years they've had their Jubilee, okay? Number 2, Israel has been a nation 70 years this year in May. They are given 70 years. So it's possible they may be fleeing their land by the end of July. Possible. It's possible. That doesn't mean it'll happen that way, but it's possible according to my theory I put together here over 30 years plus of study. Now, another witness. The seals have been opening at the rate of 1 per year since 2013. The first seal, the Antichrist got his crown. That is Pope Francis. Let's go over to Revelation chapter 17. And I'm going to show you our Antichrist. Okay? Now, let's start in verse 9 of Revelation 17. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. We're talking about this beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. Here's the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. This is Rome. Okay? And there are 7 kings. Now, this is talking about the papacy. Okay? Because okay. Let's look at, stop right there and then back up. Let's go over here to verse 1 in chapter 17. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. This is the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church. In verse 2, let's prove it, okay? With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Who else do you know where all the world leaders go and bow down before the snake in a dress while he sits in the house of God on a throne with a crown on his head, allowing world leaders to come and bow down to him? Even angels don't allow humans to bow down to them. Okay? So this guy's a snake. It says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, or bound down to a false god. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. They are, in the higher ranks, they are Luciferians. They are actually Luciferians. In verse 3, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. Now, the beast is Europe, okay? Full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. This is your new world order. The beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. That's your new world order. In verse 4, and the woman was arrayed, the woman is the whore, the church, was arrayed in purple and scarlet color. Look at the colors of the church, purple and scarlet. When you see all of those cardinals in all their array, you see a lot of purple and a lot of scarlet. That's what the color their robes are. And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. The Vatican is all in the inside. It's like gold everywhere, and precious stones and pearls inlaid into everything. Having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. What's she the mother of? Protestantism. I know a lot of you are going to really hate this, because the Protestant denominations were born out of the Catholic Church. How can anything pure be born of the whore? It can't. They're just as messed up as she is. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. Do you know who has shed the Christian? Do you know who has shed the blood of millions of martyrs over the last 1,500 years? The Catholic Church. They have more blood on their hands than Hitler. Okay? And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Very interesting, isn't it? The angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her. See, that's Europe, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, this is the New World Order, which may arise either from the UN or an EU superstate of 10 nations. Now, it says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. Did you notice that? Those who are a part of her, it says, they that dwell on the earth. At this point, they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. The ones that are taking the mark are those whose names are not written in the Lamb's book of life from the foundation of the world. Okay? When they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. Did you know that the Catholic Church reigned supreme in the world for 1,260 years? And then one of its heads was cut off and wounded, and then they became ineffective in the world. And now this Pope is trying to put this is where the Humpty Dumpty rhyme comes from. Now they are trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again and have the Catholic Church become the head of a one world religion. And they are gaining power again since this Pope took power in March 2013. So here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. That's Rome. And there are 7 kings. Now, let's explain quickly that the popes were not kings of their own sovereign nation until 1939, when the Lateran Treaty was signed with Italy. When that happened, the popes became kings of their own sovereign nation, which is the Vatican. Okay? Now it says there's 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Now, John was brought forward in time to the point of the 6th king, which would be Pope John Paul II. 5 are fallen, previous 5, they're gone when John is looking at this. 1 is, that's Pope John Paul II, and the other is not yet come. That would be Benedict, okay? And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Benedict made history by resigning from the papacy after only 7 years on the throne. A short space. Okay? Now, notice. And the beast that was and is not, even he, this is a person, a king. He is the 8th. The 8th Pope King is the son of perdition. That's Pope Francis. Okay? And is of the 7, he's one of the Pope Kings, and goeth into perdition. He is the son of perdition. He believes he is Jesus Christ incarnate on the earth. He believes that. He really believes that he stands that Jesus dwells in him, and that he is actually Jesus in a flesh body. But he doesn't believe the actual Jesus was God in the flesh, but he believes he is. It's funny, isn't it? Okay. These have one mind. They're all of their goals are the same, to rule the world. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So you have Europe, which could have a 10-nation super state, or that could be the UN. We have to see, to identify this entity, we have to watch and see who is it that signs a treaty with Israel. Okay? And then you find out that the 10 horns upon the beast, for the New World Order is Satan at the top, who appoints the Pope to rule. And then there's rules over 10 nations. Or it could be 10 world regions. Okay? Now we know who our Antichrist is. It's the 8th Pope King. And there's many verifications. Now, a Catholic prophecy, there's a lot of real believers in the Catholic Church. Don't get me wrong. God calls them out. Come out of her, my people, he says. that ye partake not of her sins, nor of her plagues, because she's in trouble for her fornication and for leading the people of the earth astray. Also, she is responsible for the blood of pretty much every Christian martyr that has ever died. Now, maybe you think, well, Islam kills Christians. Well, you know what? The Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church specifically, invented Islam. They invented Islam. So it's one, so Islam is one of the harlots, and Catholicism is Islam's mother. Okay? The Catholics invented Islam to control the Arab peoples in the Middle East. And they have done so with amazing success. Now, I saw myself Pope John Paul II and Yasser Arafat meet together on television, and that John Paul II told Yasser Arafat that Roman Catholicism and Islam were sister religions. Yes, they're very much alike, very much alike, but the mother of harlots, the Roman Catholic Church, there's where all the wickedness originates, okay? Satan's seat, if you will. Now, I mean, who else has the unmitigated gall to sit himself in the house of God on a throne with a crown on his head and permits world leaders, or actually requires world leaders, to come from all over the world and bow down to him? What a snake! Snake in a dress. I like to refer to him as Stay Puft. That's what he reminds me of, you know, Stay Puft the Destroyer. I have to stand against him, so I make up these names for him and everything, so I won't be afraid of him. And I refuse to be afraid of him. But he is not a human being. He's a devil in a human body. Jesus says, have I not chosen you 12, and yet one of you is a devil? Judas, the first son of perdition, he was referred to as the son of perdition. He was a devil in a human body. He was not a human in a human body. Pope Francis is the same thing. He's also called the son of perdition, which means he's a devil in a human body. He is not a human being inside that marshmallow body of his. Okay? Now, let's get back to what we were talking about on our bullet points. We've got, number one, Jerusalem has been in the control of the Jews for 50 years now, and they've had their Jubilee. 2, they have had their nation for 70 years, and that's all that they are guaranteed. 70 years in the land before they will have to flee one last time. Now, we have an identified Antichrist. Okay? Let me write this down. We have an identified Antichrist. And that will bring us back to the seals. The seals have been opening at the rate, and that's actually 3A, our identified Antichrist, because 3 would be the seals opening since 2013. Okay? Then 3A would be, we have an identified Antichrist who had received his crown March 2013. Second seal opened in early 2014. You had ISIS, and peace was taken from the earth. During that time, we were looking at statistics. I like science and statistics and all that. I like to be able to prove what I think, okay? Which is why I developed my theory and why I really like evidence, okay? I don't believe something just because someone says so. I want evidence. And I find it. So, now we have an identified Antichrist and an identified false prophet in Rabbi Baruch Kahane. their newly elected high priest. He is our false prophet. All prophets, true and false, are always Jews. So Pope Francis can't be the false prophet because he's not a Jew. All right? This false prophet is the one who convinces the Jewish people that the Pope is the Messiah, the promised Messiah, but he's a fake. Okay? So then we had the second seal, and we talked about that. That opened in 2014, and peace was taken from the earth. And by 2015, after that year passed, there were only 10 nations out of 196 nations that were not involved in some kind of internal struggle, war, skirmish, conflict, or peace had been taken from the earth. And you could see it on the charts. 10 nations at peace out of 196. Now that's fulfillment. That's what you call fulfillment. Now, it's very important also, a side note here to this that we're talking about. The seals, trumpets, and vials must come in a pattern that looks like birth pangs. Okay? You've got to account for birth pangs. So these things have to come like birth pangs. The first 5 seals have come 1 per year at a consistent rate. We had the first seal in 2013, second in 2014, third in 2015, fourth in 2016, fifth in 2017, and the 6th seal is due in 2018. And the 6th seal brings war in heaven, Satan cast down, and the return of the king. Yeah, the return of the king could be this year in September when the Feast of Trumpets arrives. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much here. And I want to answer your questions if you have any. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask those questions. Okay? I want to answer whatever questions you have. Now, the 6th seal is due in 2018. Let's talk about we had 3A, an identified Antichrist, 2013. 3B, peace taken from the earth in 2014. 3C, we had a turn. The Shemitah came, and that meant economic distress in the world. And we all know that has happened and is progressing. Now, these seals are progressive, okay? Because once you get into the second half and they're applying to the Jews, like the first seal was opened March 2013, and then the Antichrist received his crown and went forth conquering and to conquer. And that's what he's been doing ever since, putting back all the fragmented pieces, like Humpty Dumpty, of the previous monstrosity, which is the Roman Catholic Church. Okay? In 3D, we're looking at 2016, the 4th seal. And that is a huge increase in the numbers of deaths through many various causes, which would be pestilence, disease, sickness, violence, war, hunger, you name it, okay? Many various causes of deaths, and deaths increasing. Now, in 3E would be the 6th.